And we're live. Hey guys, what's up? Sorry for the wait there. We actually just had a few difficulties. Got those worked out though for sure. But yeah, so today's show is about Trump. I know a lot of you guys are gonna like this. Some of you guys might hate this, but we got to talk about it just because there's a lot of controversy behind it, and I think a lot of viewpoints that don't get relayed back to either the left or the right, whatever side you're on. So where's your Make America Great Again?
Oh,
hat?
my bad. I'm sorry. I forgot
Where's
to
your
bring
hat
my
at?
Make America Great Again. Because I'm absolutely pro-Trump. Today we have to address the elephant that's clearly in the room of the country. So,
All right, guys, but I don't know, man. So when it comes to Trump, I mean, I guess let's just talk about. We'll start with you, man. Like, how did the? It's been a year now. We're a year into Trump. So maybe you want to go back a year. Did you? How did you do during the voting? Like, what did you do? during that time?
If I could vote twice, I would have. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't vote. Kind of like, I don't know. Like, I just don't. The only person I would have ever voted for is Ron Paul back in 2012. But I don't vote, and like Donald Trump is an exact reason why I don't vote. People like that. He's just. I don't like during the voting season. Like I had the choice between two bowls of shit, and the only difference was the smell. To quote, it was black, and I didn't like the smell of either one, so I didn't pick either one. And I think ultimately, I think voting is just kind of encouraging the political bastards, and I don't feel like doing that. And ultimately, in my personal opinion, I don't think my vote matters. And because I really don't think it does. And I think the people's vote really comes down to like kind of a popularity contest rather than our vote mattering in the end, because it comes down to the electoral college vote, and then after that,
The electoral college is ridiculous. Yeah.
and then it kind of supersedes the people's vote. It doesn't matter, no matter what. So like, why am I wasting time going to the polls if that's the fact, if that's the matter of it?
For a lot of people that don't realize that either, is just because back in the day, people had to actually, let's talk about like the first elections that happened. I mean, when you get a message across in terms of votes or ballots, it would take them days, weeks on end to actually send these votes in. You know what I mean? They had to go on horseback to actually do this. This is why they mandated that Congress would actually vote in who the president was. That's why, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I agree with what you say. Like, when it comes to voting, it really doesn't do anything. It's stupid to vote in the sense that the electoral college. Now we're talking about your local areas, like locally voting. I think
matters.
that works.
I
right?
think that does matter. I think that actually has an effect, because it doesn't. There's not so many people's hands in the pot with local government voting.
Right.
Not so many people involved. Not so much power struggles and powerful people involved to manipulate it. You just have pretty much your average local people voting to get each other into office, and I think that. At that point, you are making a change. Your vote might actually have a difference there.
Right.
And and there, I think people should start first, and with where they're aiming their political choices at.
Okay, so you didn't vote. What's interesting, I got a lot of family members that I'm half black, half Hispanic, for people that don't know, but it's I actually have a lot of family members that actually voted Trump. I actually voted Trump. Me and my wife actually did. The reasons we voted for him, though, was completely different. It had nothing to do with, because I believe that the reason why Trump won was because of the Republican ticket. Like, he won for that reason, a huge reason why he did that. If he didn't run Republican, I just don't think he would have had a chance. I think Ted Cruz would have ended up winning the election. Or what we might show today.
The Zodiac Killer.
Right. What we might show today might show a little bit differently, in terms that I believe Hillary Clinton was actually in on it. I believe getting Bernie Sanders out of the election was
her job.
Yeah, was her job, and she definitely did that successfully. Because I mean, really, when it comes down to it, Dave Chappelle said it the best. I really vote on a president based on their personality, not on their policies. Yeah. And out of all people, the only reason I would have voted for Bernie Sanders was, bro, he walked with black people during the marches. Like, he actually did, and to me, especially back then, like, you could be somebody who totally is, you could be, you could be black back in those days in America, and it was bad. But if you were white and you stood up for black people back then, that was even worse. You know what I mean? So
that was bad for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And so to me, someone who did that during those times, I think has a lot of heart. So I would have been, I wouldn't have voted even if it was Bernie Sanders. At that time, I wouldn't have voted again, going back to what I was saying before. The reason why we voted was because I literally saw it as a Molotov cocktail towards the establishment, towards, the government. I actually thought, I'm going to put somebody who has nothing to do with any of you guys and just throw this guy into your office for you, just try to help out with that, just to see what kind of ruckus he could start. That's literally what I wanted him to do. Almost like an anarchist view, sort of. Not really, but I just basically did that because I didn't believe he was part of the establishment. You know what I mean? When we talk about establishment, we're talking about the elitists, we're talking about corporations, things like that. And even though I don't think corporations and elitists are completely the same, I just feel that the powers that be didn't want him in office, which I think they played us. I really think they played us now. Big reason, if anybody knows of a gentleman named Robert Mercer, I believe. Let me pull him up on here so we can get that on screen. Robert Mercer, he actually was somebody that helped fund the Trump campaign. What's interesting, though, he runs a company called Renaissance Technologies. And if you look at this group, let's see, we're going to use... What was the company he was involved with? Let's see.
Renaissance.
I believe it's Renaissance.
You're going to have to add more than that.
I'm only pushing a few buttons. Okay. So one of the companies he was involved with, and I'm trying to remember the name. Let me just put Renaissance and then Robert Mercer. So I should be able to come up with a name on it. Renaissance Technologies. So basically this company actually has, as you can see right here, he's actually the co-CEO. I think there's actually like 5 or 6 co-CEOs of this company. But that gentleman right there, James Harris Simmons, down at the bottom right here, this guy was actually, I don't believe he's a CEO anymore. He actually handed it down to this gentleman. But this is actually one of the guys that Hillary Clinton was stating was actually campaigning or actually funding her campaign. But they work for the same company. That was really, really interesting to me because I was like, okay, so what's going on with this company? So one of the things that it does is James Harris Simmons guy, he actually was a huge mathematician. One of the things that he did was during the Cold War, he actually was one of the guys during the Cold War that would break codes. So you remember back in the day, like World War I, World War II, you had like Morse codes. You'd have your code breakers, mathematicians, people that were like extremely smart that would break these codes to figure out what the enemy was basically relaying, you know, in terms of in war. And basically this gentleman is extremely smart, came up with this company, has a bunch of co-CEO founders. And what's interesting, though, is Robert Mercer and him were funding 2 different sides.
Is that right?
It's almost like funding 2 sides of a war, right? It's almost like you have interest on both sides. And that's what really blew my mind was I believe that, you know, there's more proof on this, but I actually believe that Hillary Clinton deliberately was put in place there to make sure that Bernie Sanders wouldn't get elected. And that now Hillary Clinton could be put in the place. They're financing both of them. Who cares? This is just a huge game. Why? It's because there's a group, right, that's called Cambridge Analytics. And what I'll try to do is I'll actually try to see if I can actually pull this up. We didn't have that on the whole time, right? Okay, perfect, cool. So, Cambridge Analytica, let's look into this company. Who are these guys? So, they are a privately held company that combines data mining and data analysis with strategic communication for the electoral process. Wow. So what these guys basically do, and they
That's
actually
their whole
have,
job.
Right, that's their whole job. Wow, very, very interesting. They're actually so this is definitely an offshoot of the Renaissance Technologies, but Cambridge Analytica, basically they data mine. So they take information from every single American, right? And they'll take about 4,000 to 5,000 bits of information per American out of 230 million Americans. And there's 300 million Americans here right now. So that's crazy. So out of almost every single person in this country, they literally get information based off of what you say, based off of what you purchase online, based on what you search, based on what you say on your social media. So it's crazy to me to think that, wow, now this is where we're going in the political game. It's no longer about... I mean, it's so sad to say this, but it's political suicide if you end up saying, look, I'm going to say my own views. I'm going to do what I want to do. No, you better do what the people tell you to do, or at least act like it. And that's what's scary is that he said all these things that like a lot of us, you know, it was a buzzword for us where we're like, wow, I actually want to go for you because you don't sound like you're part of the establishment. Wrong. Everybody was already talking about it. It was a regurgitation of information that we said, but it was said back to us. It's like fighting yourself in the mirror. How do you win that battle, that information battle? It's the craziest thing that these people did this. And so actually what I want to do too is here here in a little bit, not right now though, you don't have to put it on the screen. I actually want to see if we can go to their website and see what they say. There should be a website here. I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about, some people say, well, I don't care that they get information from me. I'm not doing nothing bad. What do you think about that?
I don't like that. I think it's a really big invasion of my privacy. Collecting data from me without my knowledge, or like basically like they give you when you're trying to sign up for something, or you're using a new device, like they give you like this like you have to click yes to accept to use this program or whatnot, but in like the fine print of that, like, oh, we get to collect data from you, but only if you hit accept is the only way you can use this program, but you have to accept us collecting data from you. And that's a big invasion of privacy, and I don't like having that taken from me all the time. And them, like, they're I don't know, just the data collection is just like very, very not cool to me, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And like when you're on Facebook or when you're searching on the web or on Amazon, and like things you've talked about will start to show up on Facebook. That's a form of data collection, basically. They're data collecting through what we're talking about vocally.
Let's go to the big screen here. So I'm on the website here. So Cambridge Analytica. That's not where we want to go. Chill out there, partner. Chill out there. Let's see. They got a .org website. Let's check that out. So there's a website. Data drives all we do. Cambridge Analytica uses data drive to audience behavior. Visit our commercial or political. Ooh, let's go to the political. View the political. Let's just see what's on their website here. I've been there before. They've actually changed their website from the last time I've been there. We find your voters and move them to action. Whoa.
So you manipulate our voters.
California political is deemed relationships, but known better as you. There are no longer any experts except Cambridge Analytica. Wow. Look at it. They even got the Trump, John Bolton, Ted Cruz, all the people that actually they funded at the time, or not they funded, but 25 years supporting them in 100 campaigns. Wow. In 5 different continents. That's another interesting thing. They just don't do America. They actually do other countries. So that's very interesting. So, wow. And by the way, like, I'm sorry if I'm winging this. Like, I didn't even realize this. So let's think about this now. So when it comes to America and what we do in terms of creating third world countries, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, especially with the last comments that Trump made, that's crazy that they actually go in other countries and they influence campaigns. So if there's somebody in office in another country that isn't doing the things that we want them to do in that country, meaning our corporate political ties, meaning in America we have corporations and they basically put their businesses in other countries, and if they're not doing what we want them to do, then all these times that you hear about, dictators and people that are doing these bad things to the people, we basically take those people out, or we make sure that they don't win their next election. That's crazy. And now they're in charge of that. Data-driven searches, let's see, they got research, data integration, audience segment, targeted advertising. Wow, it's crazy.
Yep.
What do they say here? Donald Trump's campaign shifted odds by making big data personal. So they're basically saying that they had a huge hand in the election. Yeah. Our people. Wow, they're not even hiding any of this.
Because nothing they were doing is illegal.
I mean, is it really just all about the money? Like, that's scary. Okay, so let's exit from that one. Let's go to their SCL group, because that was another affiliation that they had, because they use both to actually run the campaigns. And ultimately what we're trying to say here is that both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump use the same service. I personally believe that they deliberately heard what people wanted. They heard the opposition. They heard both sides, and they used it against everybody. And that's what they're going to do now, every time. These are our elections now.
So they utilize the data to manipulate the elections in their favor. Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And basically just by regurgitating what we say. So really they're not really like manipulating the election. They're manipulating us. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. But they're utilizing data to manipulate us for commerce reasons, for political reasons, for, we want more people to buy these things. So we're going, based off of the data we've collected from what they're talking about or they're searching, we're going to send them things that are more about what they're talking about or what they're searching, the things that they might be interested in. We're trying to get, like laws passed or policies put forward.
Put it on the big screen real quick too. Right, that's crazy. If you look at Strategic Communication Laboratories, right, SCL Group, because that's the other tie that they have, British Behavioral Research and Strategic Communication Company in the United States. SCL has gained public recognition mainly through its affiliated corporation, Cambridge Analytica. It performs data mining, data analysis on its audience, based on the results of communication specifically targeted to key audience groups to modify behavior in accordance of the goal of the SCL's client. It describes itself as a, wow, look at this part here. I think I can highlight it there. That's crazy right there. They are a global election management agency. They just straight say it. Wow, that's insane to think that. I mean, it's really gone this far in terms of data analysis. Like, this is why this is important, and this is why it's real. I mean, it's being hidden, even though these guys are putting it out online.
Yeah.
It's being hidden because when Trump, all you hear is about this whole Russia collusion thing. The reason why I hate it, people always say, why are you sticking up for Trump? It has nothing to do with that. You guys don't see the bigger picture here. You're worried about something that's fake in terms of this whole Russia collusion. Nothing will ever come of it. CNN has already admitted it's just good for ratings and nothing will come with it. It's just a big witch hunt, like they say. It really is. What is important is this. The SCL Group, Cambridge Analytica. You guys need to understand, these guys, they shouldn't be allowed to do this. We need to start passing more laws that stop things like this. Because I think that the way that it is now, I mean, and it's hard to say, well, what can you do? What can you not do? It's un-American to not allow somebody to use money to push their campaign. I know, I get it, but you're using strategies like this that are manipulating the elections. We were never going to get somebody that's honest in there because they're only regurgitating the information that we're giving them through this group. I mean, they literally just said they're a global election management agency. That's crazy. So I just think that that's the bigger picture. If you want to talk about, manipulating the elections, that's bigger. I mean, forget what this bullshit that they're giving you with Russia. I don't want to hear it no more. It's stupid. I mean, I could do a whole podcast just on that alone, on why that doesn't work. I spoke to hackers before. It's the dumbest. I mean, when you look at the entire story of 2 hackers hacking, and then what? They hacked and showed the information that Hillary was doing. That's like if I were to go, or you were to go, cheat. We would go cheating, and all of a sudden we come back and somebody's like, I have information on your guys, but we were cheating. Yeah, yeah, you have information. Hillary Clinton was doing the bullshit that she did, and she got caught. That's what they're saying is bad. That's how he won the elections. A hacker, Guccifer, went in and stole it. Like, bro, no. Like, they were just showing what she was already doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. I think that's a big deal in terms of how he got elected. That's definitely the number one reason I think that he got elected was through that. I believe Hillary Clinton was a part of it now. And that's pretty much it. I mean, ultimately, now that, the year's gone by, what do you think about Trump?
As the years gone by?
Let's talk about, see, there's 2 sides to it. There's the political, what he's done politically, and then there's the personal him.
Okay. In terms of the personal him, because personally, for me, I haven't really directly followed his political movements and his policies and laws and everything like that he's been trying to put forward. So any political actions he's done, I haven't really noticed too much other than that he's tried to get his wall forward. Personally, I think he's exactly what I called him to be before he got elected. Is kind of a moron and a jackass.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Other people could think differently. But again, what you had to say, like what Chappelle, like how Dave Chappelle chooses, like thinks about presidents is like you need to judge them based off of their character, not based off of what they say they're going to do for you. And Obama had a good character to present, which made him a decent president. I think he was, but. And his character was great too. But Donald Trump, his character is very bad. He's a very low quality person in terms of his personality and his character and how he acts. He's like already got tons of scandals against him. He's said horrible, offensive things like, to entire cultures and races of people, and to people himself. And then he's like attacked women. He's assaulted women sexually. He's called and allegedly raped his own wife, and even attacked, sexually assaulted children. And then he says that allegedly he has called other nations of the world shitholes.
Children?
Yeah, you have to look into it.
A dog doesn't bark at a parked car, though. Like, I don't know. Don't you think a little of that's a little stretched?
I mean, you'd have to obviously have to do your own research based off of what I'm saying, but this is what I've heard of it. And I think that the the Russian thing was a distraction. Was really good to use with Trump's character, I think. And what else did he do that was the fact that he's allegedly calling other countries shitholes, and how he's acting. He is the face of our country.
No country's a shithole?
I mean, you don't need to be saying that, whether or not, if that's a fact or not, and that like you need to present yourself as a president because you are a reflection of the nation. And as you are a reflection...
Did Clinton show his reflection of a nation in that Oval Office
which is why he wasn't a very good president. Which was a very bad part of his presidency. As a president, Lyndon
B. Johnson calling black people the N-word?
That was the 60s, or 50s, or 60s, and he was a terrible person for saying that. But again, as a president...
Nixon? All the stuff Nixon said?
You know, people aren't perfect, man. People aren't perfect. Just realize that you, as the president of the United States, you need to have a good content of character, because you are representing this entire country.
So when did the president turn into...
suck.
So here's my thing. When did the president turn into the Pope?
President not Pope. President's just is our president, our elected president. The people allegedly chose him to lead us for 4 to 8 years.
Leader of a great nation.
Yeah, and
I get that.
And if our people, our country is voting for that, obviously our country is not that good of a place.
How great is America?
I'd like to think it's really great, but based off of what I'm seeing, it's not.
I mean, is that just because of Trump, though?
No, it's got a lot of really good qualities, but there's also a lot of really bad qualities about this country that need to change.
Right.
But and I think one of those bad qualities with this country that needs to change is Trump himself. But we'll get to that.
Okay, so Trump. Okay, so is this country great? Is it great enough to where you need to be considered at Pope level in terms of how you act?
No one said nothing about a Pope, man. No one said nothing about president having to be a pope, or is not in the position of being a damn pope.
But in terms of if he cusses, all of a sudden he gets attacked just for cussing.
Yeah, I guess.
Obama said shit one time. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think. My whole thing about it is, I even think
popes aren't out there like raping their wives and calling countries shitholes and shit, though, man.
That's if all that's true.
True, allegedly.
That's alleged, and it is alleged because I looked forever. Like yesterday, I was like, well, where does it show Trump saying countries are shitholes? Fucking after 2 to 3 hours of research, found out he never even said it anywhere live. It was just somebody else saying, oh yeah, I heard him mention that. It was like, oh, okay, well, there you go. I mean, and when it comes to shithole countries, that's a whole nother conversation because
based off of his character and who he is as a person, all these allegations do seem pretty feasible, pretty like in the realm of being real, man. Like because he's just a low quality person, and I could see him doing all those shitty things that people have alleged him to do.
So calling it shithole countries a shithole country. So when Obama called Syria a shithole,
Obama didn't say that, did
he? He called it. Yes, he said it. That's what I meant when I said he had said shit. Yeah, he said Syria's shit right now. So if it's a shithole, I mean, and we want to bring in all these people from Syria, and we'll get to immigration later. Bringing them in from a shithole country, but we can't call them a shithole country. That just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I just don't see how the two make sense at all in terms of... All right, so we're talking so much about naming what a country is or isn't. I mean, and again, that's the distraction, I believe, when it comes to that. I'm just like, oh, God, when people started telling me, I'm like, what? Why? Like, oh, my goodness. Okay, so what? What's really going on? Okay, the right hand's got you looking this way. Can you please look to the left and figure out what's going on?
Yes, it is just a distraction. Granted, it is not the conduct of a president or a gentleman, but as what you're supposed to be as a president. But that may be a fact, but still, it is not that big of a deal And what are they distracting us from? Like everything, whenever something like that is like plastered all over the mainstream media, you really need to like critically think and pay attention to what they might be trying to distract you from.
Right.
What's going on.
So, and in terms of, this great nation, I mean, it was really interesting. I mean,
great nation.
Only thing I didn't like about Trump's slogan, I didn't like that, make America great again.
It's like he came up with it in like a second. He's like, Reagan, make America great again. Yeah. That's literally what happened.
I mean, to me, you guys got to realize a lot of people say, if you don't like this nation, get out. And then it's just like, holy shit. Like, wait, we need to analyze this shit for a second. I think when you hear an opposing position or an opposing opinion, you need to literally stop and think, okay, why is this person even saying this in the first place? It's called perspective. That's what it's called. When someone is saying something, no matter what it is, and it's not agreeing to what you believe in, there's a reason for that, and find out. If anything, find out for the benefit of being able to debate against that. Like, if someone is saying something, for instance, when was America great for blacks? I mean, let's be honest, 300-400 years ago, was it great? Great for you, right? Great for your ancestors. Like, holy shit.
I wouldn't know.
But exactly, like, it's like, when was it great? What was it great for blacks in the 60s? Was it great for us, You know what I mean? Like, when was it great? Is it great for Mexicans now? Is it, you can't really put a timeline on that. So, I mean, when he's saying things like that, it does it kind of does put like a, whoa, like, when are you talking to specific people now? Because it sounds like you're dividing. And this is the part where people say, are we divided? I guess so, because of the fact that, yes, the words he's chose to say, like, making America great again. And we just had a black president. Wait, again? So it wasn't great when we had, so what are you saying? It takes you to make it great, not him. And you're already racially divided it, because now people don't like to say this, but yes, there are racial divides within a time period. There is a time period that our country had called history, and in history, different things happen to different races. So, and it's not just blacks. I mean, you can talk to Asians during the World War II period when, the Japanese, they took them into internment camps. Like, there's so many things that you have to think about. When was it great? Was it great for Japanese back in 1945? I don't think so. Like, it's just
42.
Right. And I think just naming it that, Make America Great Again, was kind of just like, holy, whoa, I just don't agree with the verbiage that he used. Now, that's the big divide, because it is. It's dividing us, because now you got people, and this is what I hate, because I guarantee, I mean, how many was it that voted? 68 million or something? It was either 68 million that voted for Trump or 68 million that were in the entire election. But yeah. I guarantee, man, I know that, there's polls out there, but I think a large majority were, ethnic people. I don't think a large majority were the redneck white people, bring them on down, like,
There was a large portion of that, though.
Yeah, I think there was, but not as much as we think. Like, people think, like, this country's just full of it. Like, no, like, I think that it brought out, when you have those people, let's go back to them now, like, the hardcore racist people, like, you see it now, like, they're very vocal. I mean, you can see it. I mean, if you say anything, or if Trump is anywhere, they always got to get nasty and racial. And I think because Trump's president, sadly, they themselves voted for them. And so they themselves think it's a ticket to just be as racial as they can and verbally racial. So you can just see it. You can see them all coming out of the woodworks, like with the racism. I mean, when have you seen that?
Just recently.
When?
Like when all the white people in wearing like the white polos and the khaki pants and the red hat were like marching with those tiki torches to the street, and what was it, Charlottesville or something like that? And they were like, "America, America!" And right. I don't know, it's just like really racist marching, basically a white power like Klansman march.
But it's both sides though. That's what people don't get, is that there's that side. Sure, they're acting that way. They get their free card, right? But then now everybody else that isn't white, that's sitting out there and wants to yell at people like me or anybody else that voted for Trump and go, "Oh, you voted for," like the other day, somebody's like, "Oh, who'd you vote for?" I was like, "Oh, Trump." And they were just like, "Oh, you're a racist." I was like, first off, look at me. Second off, like, what the fuck? Like, what makes it, like, I just can't see that I didn't like Hillary Clinton and I needed him in office. Like, no. and I have a different view than what you're imagining. Like, that's crazy. Like, no, I'm not racist. Like, but that's what people say. Like, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter, you must be racist. You must grab girls by their vagina. I bet you like grabbing."
You gotta stop trumping them women, dude.
yeah, you're a pussy grabber, aren't you? I'm like, well, I mean, fuck, man. It's like, it's crazy, but like that's what they do, man. It's like it gives both sides a ticket. It gives these people a side a ticket to be as racial as they want. And it gives these other side of people a ticket to just say, oh, well, you're a racist, or you're anti woman, or you're anti this and that. It's just like crazy, man. Like how people just, I don't know. They watch CNN 2 times, and now they're an expert, and now they just want to go off and just regurgitate anything that they can from what they've seen and heard. Like, it's ridiculous. But I don't know, though. It's crazy. Do you think that Trump, like, so we've talked about this group, right? We've talked about, Cambridge Analytica, which, if you guys, again, let me go back to that. If you guys don't realize, this is where the future's going. Like, you might think it's a joke now, and I promise you, like, mark my words right now, 10 to 15 years, you're going to be walking down a metropolitan area, whether it's Chicago, New York, LA, and you're going to have advertisements in your face. What was the previous movie with Harrison Ford that just played?
Blade Runner 2049, right? I think.
God, man.
I actually didn't see it. Did they have like actual ads just like flying into your face, holograms?
I got chills watching that when he was just walking, and the advertisement saw him, and she was a hologram, and she came down and like pretty much analyzed him immediately. And that's what we're going to have. Like, she analyzed him, and then once she got the data from him, because he probably had a chip or something, literally then she goes, hey, and said his name, like, you're really tired. You just got off work at blah, blah, blah. Work was really tough, wasn't it? Gosh, you need yourself a Guinness.
Most blah, blah, blah.
And it was like, whoa. Like, are you kidding me?
I don't like that at all.
We're going to have advertisements like that based off our information. The other day, all I did was buy this camera equipment, right? This was probably like 3 months ago. I bought this camera equipment. But after I was done purchasing it, I think I went somewhere else, an ad popped up in the corner, and it was a tripod. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I just purchased the camera, and now you just put a tripod in my face. This is crazy. Like, I think it's crazy, me personally, just because
that's the data Analytica or whatever. That's them, or people like them collecting our data, using it for us or against us.
Right. I don't know, man. It's scary. It's going to be a scary time. But do you think the Trump presidency was, and this is the conspiracy side of it, this is the part I love, I think it was prophesized? Do you think it was?
Maybe.
In what way?
Prophesized, like, are you talking the Simpsons episode where they were prophesizing Donald Trump's election? Or prophesizing Oprah Winfrey's election in 2020? Simpsons actually called Oprah Winfrey for president in 2020. I don't know if you noticed that.
Let me look it up real quick. Let's go to Donald Trump conspiracies. Let's do side by sides.
When was the episode? It was like year 2000. Top 10 shockingly accurate cartoon prediction.
You know what though? It's gonna show other stuff if I pick that one. Let's do. This is crazy. I wonder what this one's gonna have. Watch a few of these. So, a lot of people. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy to think about it. Like, the Simpsons episodes does have a lot of stuff. Let's get it on the big screen here. And yeah, it does have a lot of stuff that basically shows some Trump things, like in his election. Let's see if this has it. I'm not even sure. I should have went through this first, but.
He arrives on his own chopper. He arrives on his own plane. But this was perhaps Donald Trump's most celebrated arrival.
Look at the signs right there.
Yep.
They got signs. What's that? Your sign say vote Trump?
Announcement you can make in your entire career. You're like, I want to come in on an Escalade. Yeah.
Hey, only losers walk. Presidents take stair force one. The Escalator's own parody Twitter account tweeted, "The ego has landed using an escalator." Someone added elevator music to the escalator video and made a 10-minute.
Look how they're making a big deal of that. Like,
Huge.
guys.
Homer Simpson rode the escalator behind Trump,
Paid?
whose hair sucked Homer into his scalp. Since Trump announced the escalator.
Wow. Did you see that though? Like,
In the interview at
that's crazy. So it literally showed the escalator there.
Homer Simpson
The same thing. But here's what's crazy. This was aired years.
That was in the year 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense. I'm not sure the exact year, but that was years back, way before this, like way before he said he was going to run.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Like, and there's a lot more than just that.
Didn't Donald Trump actually ran before? I think in the year 2000. If you actually look that up, he actually did run in the year 2000. It wasn't very popular at all. He was only he ran for like a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually find it.
Really?
Yeah.
See on these ones right here. See what they show. Oh
He would
god.
be wearing an old base sweater.
They don't have like a side by side. Like, geez, hold on real quick. But I don't know. Do you think it's even possible though that somebody would? I mean, what do you think?
Well, like how and why they predicted this on the Simpsons episode is because Matt Groening is the creator of the Simpsons, and Matt Groening is a 33-degree Master Mason, and Freemasons have a big influence on politics. And so there you go. That's pretty much my answer. But what do you have to say about it, Tony?
I'm gonna play it right now. Let's just see if this shows some more. Because I know I've seen a bunch of them. What happened?
Oh, we had an ad. God, we're probably gonna get kicked off YouTube.
Number 10, Ebola. The Simpsons family predicted the March 24th.
See what I mean? No. Oh god.
Can't play that too much. I don't want to get kicked on YouTube.
I should have had it prepped. That sucks. So it was yeah, you're right. It was a 2000 episode.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's the same exact thing. I think they did this on purpose. I think it has some kind of influence on people's psyche or stuff like that. Like having seen an episode like that, like 16 years prior, having it being ingrained in their head, and all of a sudden it actually happening. I don't know. I think it has some kind of effect on the people as a whole to have something like this happen. But again, though, the creator of the show is a Master Mason, and Freemasons have a huge influence on American politics and many other aspects of American culture and world culture.
So we won't go too much further into it, but you guys could definitely look this up. There's a lot more than just that. I mean, I guess they've filtered it. That's kind of weird. I've seen there was a video that showed and it's gone, but it actually showed Trump in different positions, winning the election. Coming off the plane, coming a lot. It wasn't just that one clip. There was a bunch, and I can't find it right now.
I think it was all on purpose.
Yeah, but you could look that up definitely, and I think we need to look at that. We really do. Instead of just saying, "Oh, it's just coincidence." No, that's
planned a long time ago.
Yeah, and I've seen other episodes, not just on this, but on Family Guy as well, that show things. You know what I mean? And Seth Green's
Family Guy's on that same page now with the Simpsons and doing the kind of seeing things. Prophesizing things like the Boston bombing. There was an episode about the Boston bomb, and then all this, probably, what was it, weeks before it actually happened? Mm-hmm. And then it happened, and so, yeah.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So I guess, so that's a conspiracy side on the Trump. So let's see. We talked about how he won the election, why he won the election. We've talked about the conspiracy side of him. So next, let's kind of talk about so we kind of dipped a little bit into it in terms of his policies. So you kind of mentioned, the little comment he made about, shit countries and stuff like that. I don't know. Let me think. Shit. I mean, when it comes to those countries, which one do you think specifically he was talking about?
I thought he was talking. I thought he was talking about some African country, or Haiti. I thought he was talking about Haiti.
Haiti as well. Yeah. And my only thing about that, I mean, it's tough. Let's see. For instance, he probably didn't even say it. I don't think he even said it. I mean, considering the statement that he came out with after, he was kind of surprised, but it almost sounded like he would say. He's like, well, that's not a bad choice of words, but that's not what I said. You know what I mean? He's like, I used aggressive words, but it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, when it comes to those countries, though, I mean, right next to them is the Dominican Republic. You know what I mean? The Dominican Republic actually is a pretty boss country. They got their shit together, and it's just right next door. I really think it has a lot to do with the people. I've taken an IQ test of it, but there's a reason certain countries are third world countries outside of just the U.S. having an influence on that, but they typically have lower IQ levels. That's something you definitely can't change.
Well, they have a lack of education, though. It's not really their fault. They're just they're hindered nutritionally, so they don't develop properly, and then.
Now, this I don't agree with, but I looked the scientific proof on the IQ. They're actually saying that it does have to do with genetics, and that literally
I think the genetics of the people of those areas, not because their countries are poor, but the genes of the people themselves are poor, and so they have.
It's a
bad
variable,
IQs.
but they've actually pulled second and third generation kids. Now they've been doing these tests since like the 30s and 40s, and
Really?
because the IQ test has been around for a while, way longer than 100 years, and they literally pulled children out and from second and third generation, and it doesn't get much higher than that. It's typically what it is. That's why when you take your IQ test, you'll notice like I've taken 3, the score never changed. It was crazy. Never changed once.
Maybe this particular people just has a lower IQ than I suppose.
Now I disagree with it because my IQ is a lot higher than what they say my generation is supposed to have, especially being half Hispanic, mainly Hispanic. You know what I mean? It's that it definitely didn't. I don't think it holds weight on what they say, but I mean, coming from those countries, yeah, they're lower IQ, and plus what we do to those countries as well. I mean, like somebody told me today, how dare Donald Trump say that about Haiti? And I'm like, bro, why do you care about Haiti now? How about when the Clintons were pounding into Haiti, like when they were screwing them over? Like, how about that? Like, they used all the money from the Haiti victims for what's her name, Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Like how about that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for them to sit there and care about Haiti out of nowhere, it's just the most dumbest, ridiculous argument I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if he said it, he said it. Again, I think there's bigger things to worry about. Maybe for the reasons why, some of his policies, if we get into them, like a lot of people are kind of mad about the wall. I mean, how do you feel about it?
I think the wall is unnecessary, and I agree with him trying to keep out like I guess trying to keep out like maybe dangerous illegals or criminal illegals and anything like that.
Okay.
But I think the wall is pretty unnecessary. I mean, they know how to dig tunnels. They know how to climb over a damn wall. And I think the wall is going to be an immense waste of the taxpayers' dollars. And I think they need to change their policies on immigration rather than trying to keep people out more.
So, spoke to one ICE unit individual. So, when I works for ICE. So, what he told me, I did ask him about the wall. I was like, is that actually going to help? He said yes. He said the reason why it'll help is because they don't have to worry about that one aspect. Now they only have to worry about the tunnels versus having to worry about the tunnels and the walls and areas that people can get over.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
That's what he was saying.
One less thing to worry about and focus on other things.
Right. And it's tough to say, the whole immigrant battle, man, that's a big thing right now because everybody likes to sit there and boast and say, well, we're a country built on immigration. We're all immigrants. And I'm like, okay, my man, this isn't colonial days. Like, this is different now. We have government programs that they didn't have back then that we have now. And guess who pays for them now? We as the people pay for that. Right. So if you're going to have a country, you can't run your country like that. I mean, that's common sense. I don't get what they're tripping about. And I don't know. That's just logic to me.
In terms of the illegals, the illegal immigrants, how I feel about them is that if they're coming over here, what is the reason why they come over here and they remain illegal? Just become...
The process is long, though, because my family, being Mexican, they came over too. And I love my family, but hey, man, like, they got their shit together quick. Like they did. My grandmother has her
Just come over here and become legal. One of the process, I suppose, is probably fairly long and fairly difficult, but all the things you're going to get from actual citizenship, I think, outweigh the annoying process of becoming legal. But what are the incentives of illegal aliens remaining illegal when they come over, other than being an individual might be a criminal from Mexico or a criminal here? Maybe they want to stay illegal instead of.
I need to have you come with me to Mexico because that's the incentive.
No, not the incentive why to come to America, but why the incentive to come to America and remain illegal. If you're here in America, become legal and pay the damn taxes.
It's scary though. I mean, I know some of my family members that come over, and then even if they wanted to become legal, I mean, even if we help them and kind of show them the steps, they're scared. A lot of them are scared, bro. They have things happen to them. It's so sad that they'll me. There's one time me and my wife, we were just driving and we saw this car start fighting with another car, and they went into Walmart and we're like, whoa, what's going on? So we went over there to see if we can get a snap of it real quick, right? And when we got there, it was this, you know,
And what was this? What was going on?
It was-
where was
they
this?
just 2 cars got into it, and then this guy was parked off, and it was a Mexican dude going inside, and we just see this, like, we hear this crash, like, and all of a sudden, like, car drove off, and all of a sudden we're like, wait, what just happened? We ran over there, and dude's window got busted out, and all of a sudden the Mexican dude came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, me and my wife went over and told him. We were just talking, and we're like, bro, like, what just happened? Like, they just broke your window. He's like, we're like, call the cops, and he was like, no tiene papeles, and we were like, wow. Or no tengo papeles, and we're like, wow, that's crazy. Like, oh, that sucks. Like, he was just like, what's he gonna do? He's scared to call the cops. He doesn't want to get deported. They just busted his stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
It was the saddest thing, and that's a big reason why immigrants they won't go, and they won't, like, you know, try to do certain things even if it's right, because they don't want to get deported, and that's what sucks, man.
So they come over here and they don't really know how to become legal 100%, and 2, they're afraid to try and go through the process, because they're afraid as they're going through the process they might
Get deported.
They might just get fucking deported.
Right. So they and it's sad because
That is a rational fear. Yeah.
But I mean, kid, do you mind? Like, honestly, do you mind if I take like $100 out of your check to help that guy that I just told you about every month?
The guy who's afraid that he's gonna get deported for.
Do you mind if I take $100?
I would mind, actually.
And then that's what I'm saying. It's like, how do you in a country like that? Like, it's like you can't continue to keep giving the government handouts that they give.
If he was a citizen, I wouldn't mind helping him out a little bit. But the fact is completely
Right. And then it's funny because I hate when I see La Raza and all this stuff. Everybody being like, "Fuck America," burning the flags and shit. It's like, dude, bro, like, you here now. Like, to me, hey, bro, I love.
They're not doing that in America.
Yeah, you see it all over. Like, they're like fuck Donald Trump, fuck America, fuck all of it. I'm like, wait,
But you're living here though.
but you came over, bro. Like, what are you even talking about right now? Like, fuck America, nigga, you came here.
Yeah.
Like, what are you scared of?
You
like,
came here to run away from a bad area. Why are you saying fuck America?
Why are you saying fuck America? That blows my mind, bro. Because why? Like, I don't have false
Say
patriotism.
fuck where you came from. But yeah.
Right. I don't have false patriotism. Oh, exactly. Oh, let me get into that. I don't have false patriotism. With me, what it is I have a love for America in terms of people. Are you kidding me? We are the coolest people, bro. We're so funny. We're so stupid. We're so full of life, bro. Like, everybody that comes from different countries, we got the best of the best, if you ask me. We got
melting pot of all the best people.
Yeah, and I think just like Thor, if anybody hasn't seen Thor Ragnarok 2, please go see it. My God.
seen it.
Dude, what they say at the end of that movie is gold. They literally say Asgard is not a place, it's its people. And that, to me, means so much as an American. Like, when I think of America, I think of you, I think of her, I think of everybody here in America, all my friends, my family, coworkers.
It's just a place.
Right. And I think of everybody here in America. I'm not thinking of the military or the ground or the memorials or whatever. I mean, I have respect for those. I'm not saying anything against that. We're talking about its people. America is a great country because of its people.
You're not gonna have a country without no people.
Right. Now, the military industrial complex, completely different. We need to talk on that. We need to get educated and learn how to take, more control of that.
Indeed.
But yeah, man, like, really, America is its people. And I just think in terms of immigration, I wish I can come up, like me, Tony, would come up with a way that immigration can happen. Have an education system for them to teach them the history of America. Like, this is America, this is what they've gone through, this is what they've done. You come over the country, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to contribute to. And then have them come over. Like, have a program where they can come over, easily.
Have like a full-on immigration program where they can come over freely and like come meet in like a middle ground where we can process them, have them be educated how to speak the language, how to read and write in our language, all like a crash course in it in the course of like 2 weeks. And
but
then,
did you say they have to learn to read and write in the language? You're a racist.
At least a little bit,
you're a racist.
So you can get by.
Now you're a racist.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just so they can function in the United States to get a job.
That's the argument right now, is that they want to actually do stuff like that, but people say, wait, you want to set a standard? Because that's what Donald Trump talked about, setting a standard for these immigrants that come over. I think it's so rude for those people to say, how dare you, Donald Trump? How dare you? You're a racist. It's like, wait a second. Are you saying us as Mexicans can't learn? Are you saying that we can't learn to read and write and that we can't score a high score on whatever these tests are? No, we can. We're the hardest workers. Like, you saying we can't put the test up. Let me get my citizenship. Why? Because there's that DACA law. I will say this about it. It's scary. Like when you read into it, the fact that, hey, if you're over here, if you're a child that was brought over here, then you can be deported back. You know what I mean? That's kind of scary. That really is. Because you are going to split families up that way. But it says this, though. If they're hardworking Americans, and they're going to vet them, they're literally going to go through and say, okay, so what's going on? Are you a hardworking American? You got a job, you're contributing? Cool, you get to stay. Other people, hey, wait, you're living off the welfare system? Boom, you got to go.
No, absolutely. If you've been living off the welfare system for more than a year.
But I think that should go for everybody. I think there's people I know. Gordos. There's people that I know.
The Gordos?
Come on, you don't remember what that was. I don't want to say names, but
I know the Gordos.
So anyways.
Pinche Gordos.
Okay, so I know people that they shouldn't be here. Like, they don't contribute. They live off welfare, and they're citizens.
I didn't know they lived off welfare. I thought.
Close.
Anyway.
But yeah. But anyways, good Lord. But they, it's like the people like that should just be like, bro, you're not contributing shit. You're sitting on your ass. Like, get up, do something. Like what the fuck? Like, there's people like that here in America, and I think that should go for them too as well. But that's obviously not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it should go for them as well. But if you're contributing here, by all means, come on over. I mean, if you're going to call America racist because of the president that we have, then call the other countries racist. Because I dare you to try to go to Canada with a DUI. Just a DUI.
That doesn't make them racist. That just makes them pretty strict on their driving laws.
Right. And Canada, I don't know. I've met a few Canadians, only a few, and I gotta say,
damn Canadians.
Right. Oh. I gotta say, honestly though, they're weird in like a nice way. They're super
too nice. They're
really,
They're too nice. I don't trust them.
Their whole people are.
I don't trust them.
I heard all of them
with their
like
beady
that,
eyes and their flapping heads. They're trash. Canadians are trash. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I love Canadians. You're like the overly nicest people on the planet, but you're just Drake. So fun to bag on them because they just take it on the chin when you hate on them. They just they're like Mormons. They just take it on the chin when you fuck with them, man. They're great. I love Canadians. I love Mormons, but I love making fun of them even more.
That's funny. Have you ever heard of what's it called? I can't even think of the name right now. It's not the Mormon Tabernacle, but these guys that sing Mormon songs about Mormonism.
No.
They make fun of it hardcore.
They make fun of the Mormonism?
Right.
Oh,
but here's what's crazy.
Watch Trey Parker and Matt Stone's Mormon play, by the way. I forgot what it's called, but it is...
Is that what it is?
Freaking hilarious. The people who made South Park made a play about Mormonism, just shitting all over Mormonism.
I think that they're the ones that made that audio for it. That's the same people that I'm talking about.
And the Mormons were like, at the end of the show, the Mormons were like...
Can we get a copy of that?
We can bring it on. At the end of the
show... They did, yes, that's the one.
At the end of the play, an actual Mormon would come out and he would say, like, if you enjoyed this show and you want to know more about Mormonism, please join us at www. No joke, they just take it on the chin. Oh my God.
They do. They honestly though, no, Mormons are the nicest.
Rogan here, but
you can't hate on Mormons. It's hard. Yeah, they're by all means. Yeah, they're loving people. But yeah, I remember hearing about that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And that's interesting.
I know.
Oh
man.
But going back to that, with immigration and all that stuff, with other countries, like Canada won't even let you in on that. So, and there's other countries that won't let us in. You know what they do to us when we go over to Mexico? Oh my goodness.
What do they do to Americans when they try to go to Mexico?
Bro, they don't keep Americans in. No, they deport us back. They keep you in jail forever. They take all your money. There's all kinds of stuff.
It's a dick move.
Yeah, like you can't even drink. Just like how you can't drink out here publicly, you can't drink out there publicly. They'll keep you in jail for a set amount of days. You pay them like a good $500 to $1,000, they'll let you out. But like they screw you over there, bro.
Shiesty.
Right. But I mean, other countries do way worse. And I think with our country, I just think it's interesting that and I'll say the left. I don't consider myself right or left because you put yourself in a box. You put yourself in this area that's constricted that you can't move anywhere when you say you're left or right. But the left likes to talk about. This whole deal with the fact that Trump's like, he's not very accepting of immigrants, right? When it comes to, going back to immigration.
Okay, immigration. Go back to immigration.
No, we were talking about immigration, and then I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think that if they come over here, if immigrants want to come over here, I think there should be a simple standard to where they know very basic English at least, and very basic reading and writing. We're not going to make it very hard for them, and I don't think that's racist to want that. And so they can function on a fundamental, basic level in the working force here in America.
Right.
And I think that if you're over here and you're illegal and you've been on welfare for more than 6 months and you haven't put forth the effort to try and become a legal citizen, you should be deported. You absolutely should, because now you're just living off of our system, off of the taxpayers' dollars, and
I think it's a little
paying
more.
a cent.
I think it's a little more. I think they should get a little bit more longer than 6 months and a little more assistance.
How about a year?
If they're not a criminal, anyways, if they're not a criminal.
Yeah. Okay, a year then.
Mm-hmm. Like oh, now I remember what I was going to talk about. Jeez, it's crazy. But the left likes to talk about, well, now we're in this deficit now, so we're going to jump into the tax plan. So, Donald Trump's tax plan, right? And it's a little bit of the reason why I might sound like I'm a Trump supporter. It's only for the show, but really, like,
Trump supporter.
I'm actually anti now because of the fact that he isn't doing some of the things that I wanted him to do. Mm-hmm. This tax plan that's coming out is. Here's what's funny. People always say, well, this tax plan's screwing us. And I'm like, well, why? And they go, what's going to put us immediately, we're going to be $1.4 trillion more into a deficit. And I'm like,
we're in a shit ton of debt anyway.
We're already in a
Doesn't
deficit.
Matter.
But why didn't you care before? Now you care just because Trump's in office? And that's what irritates me all about these anti-Trump people. It's like, y'all are only caring because he's in office when you should have been caring for the last 10 years about all this shit. Like, what are you even talking about now? Like, they tune into CNN more just because this guy's in office, and it's the stupidest thing. Again, I hate sounding like I'm defending him, but I'm not. I'm just literally pointing out the facts that you guys are caring about shit that you shouldn't
Trump
care.
Supporter.
Right. I'm racist. God damn it. It's like, but when it comes to this, bro, like we're in a deficit, and we're going to stay there. One of the things that I don't like that Trump promised, he didn't really promise it. It wasn't part of his campaign promise, but he just said it. And that might be a part of the Cambridge Analytics that told him to say this, but he literally was saying, we're going to audit the Fed. We're going to audit the Fed.
Did Trump say that?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Bro, that was my number one thing. That I was like, hey, well, voting for him. Fuck that. Voting for him.
And then, did he audit the Fed? Is he even trying?
He hasn't yet.
He ain't going to do it.
And
it's just said what the people wanted to hear.
Right.
Man, he ain't no.
If he audits the Fed, and here's another thing, when it goes back to Cambridge Analytics and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton goes to jail, which she should for the stuff that she did.
What?
Hey, I'll believe she wasn't in on it then. But until she goes to jail, it proves that she was in on it. Well, she's not going to go to jail. No, they're not even going to do an investigation. If they do, it'll get tossed out.
No, only like regular people like us would go to jail. She doesn't, because she's like a famous politician and rich person.
She's paid all the people the right money.
She's a member of the elite. No, she'll get away from it.
So, when it comes to, all this, it's just, when it comes to, that's just frustrating just hearing people say that every single time.
Unbelievable.
But, let me turn on that screen again. There's one more thing. Let me see here. So, I don't think we have anything else other than that to talk about.
No, Donald Trump and Donald Trump. To summarize, Donald Trump's an asshole. His policies are wrong. He's got he's a very poor character, and he's a very low quality person. I want to say something nice about him. I think he's firm and direct. At least I think he's a straight shooter. I think he's being told what to do. He has no idea what he's doing in terms of like political policies and being a president in any way whatsoever. Only good thing I have anything to say about him at all is he's a straight shooter and he doesn't bullshit. From what I have a feeling he doesn't bullshit. And but everything else, I mean, he's
and we'll stick to his policies a little bit more. So his policies on, obviously we didn't like the fact that for those that voted for him, he's not auditing the Fed. Because I believe the root of all of America's problems comes from the federal income tax and the IRS. We don't need them. It's not a law that's in effect. It's just, to me, that's just where the root cause of all of it is. And if he's not going to audit the Fed, then by all means, I don't give a shit. But he did another thing that was interesting that I'm kind of conflicted with. He attacked Syria. Now, if you know the history of Syria, that's definitely another podcast. That's too long. There was a huge war that was happening in Syria, and it was pretty much the U.S. against Russia. It was a proxy war. Proxy war is when, I guess if I were to give it an example, say you had a brother and I didn't like your brother, I would use you against your brother. You know what I mean? That's a proxy war.
I thought a proxy war was using, like I have this dude wants to fight you, but you send out a dude to fight for you, and those two fight, and that's a proxy war.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just explaining it more in if somebody's just, sitting at home watching kind of sense, oh, I get that shit.
Okay.
Versus more complex, but.
Right.
So when it comes to a proxy war, that's what that basically was the U.S. against Russia. and they were using both sides. It's funny because our military technically was ISIS. It's like
we train them. It's just like Al Qaeda. Just
we trained that. Well, we trained Al Nusra. That's the problem, is that we trained a group called. Again, this could be a whole nother podcast.
They hate us for our freedom.
Right. We trained Al Nusra, which had ISIS members in it, and they basically fought against the rebels in Syria. And not the rebels. I'm sorry. No, they joined the rebels. They fought against the Syrian army, though. Bashar al-Assad basically has a pipeline, right, that's going through Syria. That pipeline, the reason why Russia got involved was because Russia's gas goes through there. So when people like to say, well, Obama did so great and he lowered our gas down to $2 a gallon, well, I'm sorry to let you know that was a hit towards Putin.
Yeah,
because
it was. It's called financial warfare. Yeah.
Exactly. He basically was lowering the price of the gas so it would hurt their exports. That's it.
People buying from us because our prices were lower, and they were like, oh, shit.
Exactly. So it affected their economy by 60%. It was big. It was huge.
That's shade to attack somebody financially like that. Oof.
Well, which is why Putin was smiling when he said, "Okay, we'll join the war against ISIS too, America."
Yeah.
he bombed the hell out of ISIS. When they, it's funny because they were doing all these. You know how people were like, "Pay for prayers," and like Russia's like, "We'll do better than pray," and they basically wrote on their bombs, "This is for you, Paris," and then they just bombed the hell out of ISIS members. There's an actual video. You can look it up online where it shows an ISIS member like saying, "Yeah, we're gonna win this war," and then boom, they get bombed. It was the same bomb that person had sent, supposedly, in the video, right? But it's really funny. But I mean, again, that war was happening, and we all know the truth of what was happening in Syria. For those that that were actually researching, we know what really was the proxy war that was going on there between the Shiites and the Sunni and everything that has to do with the Muslim religion. If you guys are ever interested in that, we will have a podcast on that. But basically, this war that was going on was a proxy war, and Trump got involved in the sense that I didn't want him to, because Hillary Clinton was talking about, well, we're gonna bomb Syria, we're gonna get and that's when I was like done with her. Like I was like, oh no, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Like that, this is a proxy war. Like this is just a war over financial gains and money, and there's so many things that this war is about that we shouldn't be involved in. Like, why are we going there? And Trump entertained it by sending 50 Tomahawk missiles to Syria. And that's crazy to me, because it's like, bro, this is the reason you got voted in, was because of your foreign policy, and now you're breaking that and you're attacking Syria. But I did look at the locations he bombed. Nobody was killed, and there were random locations and no buildings were hit. It's the weirdest thing. I wonder if it was done just
distraction, maybe
distraction, but maybe as let me just shut these people up and let me just bomb him for supposedly using chemical weapons. Why would he use chemical weapons if he was winning the war anyways?
Maybe just throw a bomb out into a completely desolate area where there's nobody and let the people...
That's exactly, and I think that was smart. That was smart play.
Let the people think that we bombed the bad guys, and let them think that we bombed the bad guys, but we actually didn't. We're just shutting some people up, distracting the right people, and moving on.
Right. Yeah. And I wonder if that's really what it was. So... in terms of people were wondering about that, that's kind of our thoughts on it. If you guys have thoughts on it, that's cool. That's awesome. Please put them in the comment section. But that's, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at, where I'm just like, don't like the foreign policy. Hope it doesn't continue. I'm not really a supporter of Israel. I know other people are. I'm really not a supporter of Israel. We'll get into that a different podcast. We're really starting to support Israel. Again, my foreign policy with Trump has just gone... and that's the reason why I don't like him now, because it's like, well, it sounds like you're still doing what the establishment wants you to do. So, but other than that, though, as a person, it's obvious, yes, he's arrogant. I've always thought that. Even on his show, You're Fired, I've always thought that. I was like, he's arrogant as hell. But I had respect for him in terms of the fact that this dude makes money, knows how to make money. Even though the money was handed to him, at least he's a little bit educated in money. And so I had respect for him on that, mainly just because I love Robert Kiyosaki, and him and Robert Kiyosaki came on a Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was awesome. They had like a show on that. But that's the reason why I like Trump. Other than that, though, I always thought he was arrogant. I mean, everybody else does. When I see him do stuff, I just think it's funny. I think it's Bush funny. Like, it's just like, what is he doing?
Funny was because he was so stupid.
Yeah.
Trump's funny is because he's just a jackass.
Oh man, this guy's a jerk. Yeah, I get it. We all, even the Trump supporters, get it. They're like, yeah, I know he went a little too far. But I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know where this whole president has to be this and that. Are we a great nation? Yes, because of our people. But I mean, other than that, I don't hold the president to any standard after Clinton. Like, I just don't. Like, and that's just for my generation. I mean, I'm sure past generations, other people that are older are like, well, you know what so-and-so did, and Carter, and God knows what those presidents did. I'm not going to research that. But pretty sure those presidents did a lot worse. And so I'm not going to hold any weight in terms of what he just said with the whole, shit countries. That's a distraction, guys. We need to focus on other things that are a little bit more important, on which we will talk about on other podcasts. So for now, I guess, do you have anything else to say on Trump?
For Trump, I think that'll be pretty much it. I think all the points that I needed to have made have been pretty much made. Mm-hmm. To summarize, as I said, he's just a jackass. He's a straight shooter, but a poor image and representation of the country.
And for those that are stuck on this Trump derangement, totally
an unstable man.
Because no, I'm talking about people that hate him. Because have you ever met those, bro? They're usually older women, but I don't know why they're all older women. They're always like,
he probably trumped him.
I hate Trump.
He trumped him, and they didn't like it.
Yeah, no. I don't know if it was that. Or I don't know what it was, but Trump could bust in this room, right? They could be sitting with us, and Trump could bust in the room in this round and be like, "Listen, 1 + 1 is 2," and they'll be like, "No, it's not, Trump. I hate you."
1 + 1 is 2.
And they'll flip out. It doesn't matter what he says. They're so fuck. They're just crazy over the hate for Trump. Don't be that person. Just. Look, live your life. Do what you're doing. Be an American.
Focus your attention on things that are more important and things that matter more. I mean, focusing on someone like that is wasting your energy.
Yeah, his tax plan. Yeah, it's terrible because it doesn't attack the Fed like I want it to. It seems to attack kind of the middle class. And is that bad? I mean, and keep in mind, is it attacking anybody? No, it's literally taking 50% away from corporations versus what we get taxed at, right? Mm-hmm. But that's supposed to trickle down. Well, that's stupid because we know it's not. We know corporations. I mean, Coca-Cola had a public statement saying that they weren't going to give their employees or hire more people or anything with that money. That was crazy that they just came out and said that. And that should show you proof enough that the corporations are always in on for themselves. There needs to be laws that are passed that shows that corporations are actually helping the people that are actually being. Call it the American law or the American rule. Make it, name it that. So that way, it holds some weight somehow. And people will literally start saying, okay, there's a law that we're making that says, since you're here in America, oh God, never mind, then we're going to have another problem. Never mind. I just answered my own question. Well, just because of the fact that that's the reason why this tax plan kind of does work when you think about it. You should be able to say this. Even if you're anti-Trump, doesn't matter. You should be able to say this. Okay, on paper and logically, yes. Due to the fact that America has the highest tax for corporations, all these companies export all their shit. So we need to bring these companies back to America. So now it's only 50%. Now hopefully these countries will come, bring everything back, and they'll start actually paying out to people.
Hopefully.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Unless the prices overseas are still cheaper.
Right. So people shouldn't be mad oh my God. No, nothing changes with you. You're still going to get taxed what you get taxed. But the corporation's not getting less tax. So hopefully you work somewhere where they give you a bonus. I heard AT&T gave their workers $1,000 bonus. Hopefully what's going to happen is these companies are going to start trickling down this money like they should and keeping jobs here because of the fact that, yes, America has the highest tax. Of course, if you're a business and you're here in America, you're I'm going to export all my shit then because you're taxing me so high. That's only smart. That's a smart business plan. You didn't get there for no reason. You got there because you're smart. You're going to make a smart business plan and you're going to export your shit. So due to the fact that they did that, I think this idea of the plan, yes, it's great, but is it going to really happen the way they think it is? I doubt it. I really doubt it. I just don't see corporations helping the people because that's a different podcast on what corporations are and what they do to people.
They'll never help people unless they have to or if it makes them look good in the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything else to summarize?
No, that's pretty much it on Trump. Guys, please hit up the Instagram. I saw a few of those comments. Those were great. A lot of you guys posted comments on what you want to hear next. Aliens, Civil War. I mean, Civil War could have been done now.
That's interesting. Civil War, huh? I haven't even thought about that one.
No, a lot of people, when they talk about Trump, they're like, yeah, Civil War is coming. I think people are a little too comfortable for a Civil War.
I don't think they'll get off their couch for that.
Right. I don't think they will. They don't want to lose their house. They don't want to lose their direct TV and their internet.
Their AT&T Uverse.
They won't keep it there, boy. They won't keep it. So I just don't think that people are ready for a war. But we can talk about it. We will talk about it here soon. That might be the next one that we talk about. We'll make our decision here in a couple of days what podcast we're going to basically do. And Or maybe even tonight. We'll see what happens. But thanks, guys, that tuned in tonight. And if any other subject that you can add to the list that's on our Instagram, remember, Red Pill Station on Instagram. Easy. Type in the name Red Pill Station. You'll actually be able to go on there and write a new subject that you want to see on there. It'll probably be like the third or fourth picture by now if I post more stuff. And please let us know what else you want us to do a conversation on. Tonight, we were supposed to have 2 other guests on here. We weren't supposed to be the ones talking about Trump. We were supposed to have the other 2 guests on there. We had about...
some things came up.
Yeah, we had about 8 people just completely, like, not do it. So, but they're out. But, yeah, hopefully on the next show we will have another guest. If you want to be a guest on the show, please hit us up. We would love to have anybody on here. We're just starting off. Anybody that wants to come on the show. Like, this will be great. We could talk about all these things.
We'll Skype you on. We'll have you over the phone. Whatever we can work something on. So,
yes. And keep in mind, coming up soon, guys. So I know we're in January, but February is going to be a great month. Black Panther movie's coming out. We're going to have... in honor of Black History Month, we're gonna definitely be doing a lot of BLM, Kaepernick, standing for the flag. We'll see if we can get some veterans on. That'd be awesome. So if you guys know any veterans, please let us know. Then come on the show with us. We have some interesting guests that'll be on to kind of debate that.
My own brother, member of the military himself, might be on at some point, and
right.
I'm sure you'll enjoy him.
Awesome. And then Rob Coates will make his debut. That'll be awesome. He's going to come out and have some things to say, Mr. CWA. So other than that, guys, thanks for tuning in. And,
thank you for tuning in, and stay focused.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for taking the red pill. Did you hit stop already? Oh, hit it. Hit stop.
Carrying on. I think we might be still recording. Don't worry, I'll be